Hi, everyone. It's Emily, the Career Catalyst. I really want to talk today about being happy in your job. I know that we can get kind of caught up in different ideas about this and, feeling like work is work and you're supposed to suffer through work and all of that. But the truth is that if you enjoy what you're doing, if you're happy in your day-to-day life at work, what happens is you're better at your job, right? And beyond that, just fundamentally, you really deserve to enjoy what you do 40 or more hours a week. You just do, as Mr. Rogers said, just for being you. You deserve to be able to go into your job every single workday and not feel horror and dread and gross and that kind of icky Monday morning feeling. I got to this topic today because I was trying to talk a little bit about the difference between doodling and taking notes. I did a blog earlier this week about how I used to get in trouble all the time because I'm a doodler. I always writing, squiggling, doing stuff like that in my notes and things like staff meetings. And it was really difficult for me because that's how I pay attention. And I was working in a pretty toxic environment at the time. And that kind of made me start thinking about this notion of toxicity and about how we get kind of stuck in it. And I just wanted to kind of bring this topic up today because I know a lot of people are really kind of sitting through that right now, dealing with a workplace that isn't a particularly good fit and that feels just kind of bad. And I don't want that for you. And so if you're in a place now where your work is beginning to feel really unpleasant, just like every day you kind of dread getting to your tasks, whether you're actually going into the office yet or not, and just speak about how you really do deserve to be in a place that doesn't feel like that. Now, it's not going to be easy to get there. I don't want to make this sound like it's all kind of Pollyanna and rainbows. But if you're really unhappy at work, if it's beginning to impact you in ways outside of work, like if you're, picking fights with your loved ones or not seeing your friends, if you're spending a whole lot of money outside of work hours, like expensive coffees, fancy lunches, cocktails after work, that sort of thing, in a way that isn't normal for you, then what you're beginning to see is some of the impacts of your work stress in your outside life. Your personal life should never have to suffer that much because of your job. Which isn't to say that some people don't select into particularly stressful work situations that kind of give them that sizzle, that jazz. Those are folks who enjoy that and who like it. So, EMTs and cops and paramedics and people like that, because the nature of their work is just naturally very stressful. However, the rest of us deserve to be able to let our work go when we're done with our work, to not have it make us feel anxious when we're not working, not to wake up on Monday morning and kind of feel like it's time to throw up. So this is really what I'm talking about. If you're in a situation where your work is taking too big an emotional toll, then I really want you to think about how fundamentally you don't deserve that. There's nothing deeply flawed about you. You're not paying some price for anything that you've done in the past. And it's not just because you're terrible at making decisions and terrible at choosing workplaces and that sort of thing. Most of us get into situations where we're unhappy at work for a variety of reasons. A really common one is a change of staff, particularly a change of management. So if you've gotten a new manager and all of a sudden your work stinks, that's not on you. That's just that you didn't have a say, probably, or not enough of a say in who was chosen as your new supervisor. And it's not someone who works for you. That's certainly what happened to me in the past. For some of us, we've just outgrown the work that we're currently doing. And so it starts to feel really unpleasant because we're done, right? And for some of us, it's just a variety of factors kind of piling in there all at once. And particularly if you've had a series of jobs that feel like a poor fit, it gets really easy to begin to think, well, this is somehow my fault. There's something wrong with me. I'm doing something here that's bad and wrong, and I should suffer because of it. And I really don't want you to feel that way. The truth is, we haven't ever really learned how to choose jobs. And so, of course, we're going to get into a lot of situations that aren't a good fit. And so what I would encourage you to do if you're really suffering in your job is to begin taking some notes. Some of this is just going to feel like venting, which is fine. That's actually a really healthy thing to do. But beyond that, I would say get very, very specific with it. So don't just vent, although do feel free to vent, but note some specific pieces that are feeling unsatisfying right now. And then once you've gotten the burden of that stuff kind of off your chest a little bit, then you also might be able to go further back in time and identify what you used to like about the job, if there ever was anything. If there wasn't anything large that you ever liked about the job, then think back about the smaller things that you enjoyed earlier on, or maybe some little tasks that you're currently doing that you do enjoy. The point of this exercise is to get very specific with what you like and don't like in your job. And the reason that's so important is because we're going to be looking for the next thing for you. If your work sucks right now, if you are doing all kinds of things to cope with your job, if you get really upset and just kind of stop working and do whatever, hit job boards or watch puppy videos or whatever it is that makes you be able to get through your workday, the truth is that it's unlikely to get better in your current situation. So that means we need to begin to look for the next thing for you. But in order to avoid sliding into the next thing that's just like this thing, it's kind of cosmetically different, but it's just like this job, we need to spend a bit of time identifying what you really like and don't like in your work life. And we need to clarify what you need from a job and what you need to be able to contribute in your job. And so this is going to be kind of a longer set of exercises, but start by really writing these things down so that you can begin to get clear on what it is that's making you not feel content in the role. It's not easy. It's not going to be a short-term exercise. And if things are particularly bad at your job, then I would encourage you to think about maybe a part-time or temporary gig where you can kind of get out of where you are right now and into something that maybe isn't great, but also isn't super painful. These are often called gap jobs. But look at maybe some remote type work, some gig jobs, anything that can kind of bridge the gap between where you are now and where you ultimately want to be. That's just if you're at the place where your current situation, though, is untenable. If you can kind of put up with it a while longer, then I would encourage you to stay and really spend some time figuring out what is next. Be really thorough in your applications to the new jobs. Don't just kind of spam every potential job you could do, but be very thoughtful in your applications. And what you'll find when you're in a job that's a better fit is that it builds you up instead of just tearing you down. That means that you're able to do better work, and that means that you don't end your work weeks feeling completely exhausted and like you can't do anything fun or social, the kind of stuff that we really ought to be able to do outside of our work lives. So I hope this is helpful to you, but let me know if you have other questions about it, because this is a really difficult place to be. And don't feel like it's something that you can fix by watching a 10-minute video. However, if you're in this situation, I just wanted to normalize it and to let you know that you really do deserve not to hate your job. So let me know if you have questions. Have a great weekend, and I will see you back here next week.